even when you're friends with that person, I knew like she didn't like align with me.
You are not fucking me, bitch. I am not paying for your anything.
When I was with her, I just felt like, ugh. I met Emily at a TV show. And when you're at the show, you kind of, you get your little like crew of humans that are like cool enough to like be an entrepreneur and like also cool enough to like shoot the shit and like off the record type of stuff. So we met at a TV show. We met at a TV show for entrepreneurs, and we formed our own gang of people. Who was in our gang? Me, you, Dylan, JB. You had your own crew.
I know. That's why I'm like, I was a part of 5 crews.
Yeah. Do you still talk to anybody?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
We
Good.
talk in our group chat probably 3 times a week, if not more.
Wow,
We
that's
text a lot.
impressive.
Yeah, they're the ones that I talk to the most. I talk to Janine a lot too. And I talk to you.
I'm gonna interview Janine too, or have her on because of the book that she just came out with.
Yes, Janine's awesome. I love her. I talk to her all the time. Yeah, she just dropped her book yesterday.
I can't believe she's published 8 books.
It's insane. It's insane.
Good for her. I love
she's a
that.
machine. Yeah, no, she's
Damn, 8 books. That's crazy. What are all her books on?
I'm not sure if it's all life story. I know this one's about like she was in a domestic violence relationship, and I know that's one.
I went through that too when I was 21, and so that's what I'm talking to her about. The whole premise of this podcast is like I started to feel really just transactional with my job and my life, that like, you know, I'm working, people like give me money, I train their dog. Give me money, I train their dog. But like I'm not really like helping a cause, you know? So I went to this military influencer conference, was fucking amazing, dude. Like so good. And everybody was like, yeah, I work in this organization. I work in this nonprofit. We help this. And we help veterans, you know, against suicide. We help veterans get homes and school. And I just was like, I train dogs. Like if you're not in my area, I can't help you, you know?
Yeah.
And it just felt so like I can't get involved with anything that's like helping change the world or people's lives because people are like, oh, can you help with suicide? No, you train dogs? Okay.
What about like a nonprofit that benefits dogs?
I could. That is an option.
That's
and
like
I've
the
had
only other route, and it's like, you know.
There's only like one thing, right? And so like I had this podcast before with a friend of mine. It was a co-host type of thing, but him and I just like didn't align. It is really hard to work with friends and like people that you're close. It's like really hard.
Yeah.
So we didn't align. And so now I'm like, this podcast, I want it to highlight, you know, I really love talking about psychology and body language and relationships. And so I just really want it to highlight like the struggles of day-to-day relationships with friends, family, partners, coworkers, and like going through domestic and the bullshit that I had to go through for that and the support like I didn't have. And so now this podcast, I want it to get big. I want people to listen to. I want to like work with DV organizations. Like I want to, you know, like I really want to help people because like when I needed the help, it wasn't there. And I was 21. I didn't know that there even was like a community of people that like gave a shit about, you know, emotions and stuff.
Yeah, I think maybe 10 years ago or even 5, things were just perceived really differently. Those are the types of things that happened at home and you didn't really talk about it. But I think now it's like this generation is more about mental health and talking about
so much more,
and being very transparent. And I think that was something that we lacked like a long time ago, or even our parents' generation.
And it's like 10 years ago isn't that long ago. Like we should be more advanced than we are. Like it still is shocking to me that people are like, oh, 2 like penises shouldn't date. Like that's fucked up. Like that, how is that still a conversation? Like
it's insane that people like still feel that way. Yeah. But I think there was a big shift, or I guess pivot, after the pandemic that brought this like awareness, because I think we could all agree that we were, I mean, even though we're all making sourdough and all those things, we were all equally depressed during that time. Like I think everybody was having their own personal mental health struggle. And I think that kind of like brought a lot of awareness, because we could say across the board, everybody was kind of depressed during that time, or had anxiety, or had some sort of, we're dealing with some sort of mental health crisis. And we were just like, let's bake bread and let's like, I don't know, go on Instagram Live or whatever the hell people were doing in that time, shot for a shot or whatever, you know, just trying to cope with it. So I think in the past 5 years, probably pandemic on, is when like mental health became a big conversation and everybody was like, I go to therapy and I'm like, self-help
therapy is like cool, which is cool that it's cool, but like therapy like it just became cool and trendy during COVID because people were like alone with themselves. And I bet you there's a lot of people who like we're going to talk about like when it's time to break up with a friend. Like imagine how many friends and partners were broken up with during COVID because they actually like spent time around them and were like, oh, actually, you're not
I hate you.
great for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Breathing like that.
It was either that or it became a lot of relationships started in the pandemic because there was like this codependency issue. It's like, ooh, I have to be alone. I don't want to be alone in my thoughts. Let me get a partner. And then you realize that you started this like weird trauma bond. And then it's like, we're not supposed to be together. You're just kind of bored,
Yeah. And a lot of people got dogs. Like COVID was really, really good for dog trainers because everybody was like, the codependency, like you said, and now all these COVID dogs are just like, oh my God, there's a person. Oh my God. And like, I think there's still some people like that. Dude,
yeah. I mean, that's also kids too. Like there's a lot of pandemic kids that like, imagine growing up and you're on lockdown, or being a baby in lockdown and you're not really going outside. You're not interacting. You're not going to daycare. So it's like, I think it's just such a weird period of time.
I've had to break up with a friend recently. It's just like, you even when you're friends with that person, I knew like she didn't like align with me. And there was just little things, but it's kind of like dating. Like when you have a friend that you kind of need to break up with, you can't just like cut them off right away. You have to like observe and watch their actions and be like, okay, I'm going to just try to confirm my suspicions by just observing you and seeing that you're not good for me.
Yeah. I wouldn't say I had a friendship breakup recently, but I have had a difficult conversation with a friend. I'm a very passive person. Very hard for me to be confrontational or I just let a lot of things go. But this in particular was just really, it was sitting on me for a long time. And I'm like, why am I not saying anything? And how can I expect change behavior if I'm not saying how I feel? So I had to have a very scheduled, difficult conversation with a friend. But luckily, I think at this age, we're both a little more healed. We've both been to therapy. It wasn't drama. It was like, it actually went a lot
better. It was good?
Yeah, it went really well. And we're like trying to work through the issues. But I've had, most of the time, it's like, I try to think about it like, okay, well, what's the issue, right?
Yeah.
Is the issue something that you can change? Is it something that you did to me? Did you disrespect me? Did you do something that bothered me? Or are you just a shitty person? Because if you're just a shitty person, it doesn't make like, I don't know how to tell somebody, I don't like who you are as a person. I don't want to be around you. I kind of just ghost people.
Yeah.
In that sense, because I'm like, I just put distance. I don't really need to tell you like, you're not a good person. And I've had that conversation, or not conversation, but I've had that situation before with somebody I was close to. And I was just like, wow, you're a fucking hot mess. And I don't need that shit around me. And you're just like, you need to get it together. I don't even want that to rub off on me. So I just kind of ghosted them versus having a conversation.
Okay, so I just did a podcast. I just did an episode on, it was called Thank You for Ghosting Me, because I was ghosted and then I met my boyfriend and like it all totally worked out. But in that episode, I say like, stop fucking ghosting people. Like it sucks. But I kind of agree with you in like the friendship world. I feel like ghosting a friend who's not good for you is very different than ghosting a potential partner, because it's like if you go on a date, you're just like, you can get the ick so fast, right? You go on one date and the way they reach for their car door, you're like, I hate it. No fucking way. Like, it's crazy how fast it can happen. So I feel like it's really easy to be like, hey, like, I just don't see a romantic, future with you. Super cool, but like not for me. But with a friend who's like kind of toxic or doesn't align with you, like you said, you can't be like, hey, Sarah, like, you suck as a human. I can't fucking do it. Like, you can't fucking say that. Like, you can, and sometimes there's no conflict resolution because like you're here, they're here, or whatever. And it's just like, there's no conflict resolution. And so sometimes it's just best to like, I'm going to go this way. And then just like, right, if both parties wanted it to work, they would fucking be friends. It's really, I've been ghosted by a friend and like that sucked because I reached out to her and I was like, hey, haven't heard from you in like 6 months and then like a year. And then like she never ever responded. And so like that sucked because I was like wanting that like reach out. But I guess so I've been on the end of ghosting, but that was like her boyfriend didn't like me kind of thing. And so that was really weird.
Okay.
But
yeah, I got a little.
like this, I didn't really ghost her. I'm trying to think if when's the last time I like ghosted a friend, but I don't know. It's just so different. Like, okay, let me ask you this. I'm not a passive person. I'm a very upfront person. Like, I don't like conflict, but I like conflict resolution. And so, like, if there's an issue, I'm very quick to be like, hey, I feel like this. Can we talk about it? Blah, blah, blah. You're a passive person, you know, so we communicate very differently, right? So if like we had a problem as friends, how do you communicate as a passive person? And then like, how can people effectively communicate with a passive friend?
I've been getting a lot better, and I've been finding my voice. I think in the past maybe year or two, I came out of a relationship where I lost my voice, and then I think I've been like actively working on getting it back. So I've been really good at communicating. Like there's certain things that I'm like, normally I'd be like, oh, I wouldn't say anything. I just kind of let things go. I don't take anything too seriously, but I think and I'm not just passive, I'm passive aggressive. So I'm probably going to like,
you're like, oh, cute shoes.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to probably make a passive aggressive comment, and there's truth in jest, right? So I'm going to make a joke, but I'm like serious. So I think it's one of those things that like, if you know you fucked up, check in with your friend. But I've had a lot of people like do things to me or take advantage of me or whatever, and then they just like continue on. But I know why they're doing that because I'm not saying anything. But I think if you know you fucked up, it's just like lead with an apology. That's always my biggest thing. If you know you started some shit or you did some shit or you got fucked up and you said something you shouldn't have said, just lead with an apology, and that opens the door of the conversation versus we both acted like something didn't happen and it did, you know?
So the thing that I find with passive people is that you don't know when they get offended. And so so like, right? If you know you fucked up, just apologize, which I totally support. But like, what if you don't know you fucked up because the passive person is just like this, like, but secretly they're like, I'm going to fucking kill you. I'm pissed
exactly.
Off, but we don't know.
And in this difficult conversation with a friend that I had recently, she was like, well, you're really hard to read, like emotionally, because she wears her emotions on her sleeve. She cries for everything. And I'm just not that person. I'm a little bit more of a robot. And that might just be the Aquarius in me, that I'm just like, I do the cost benefit analysis of the emotions. And I'm like, it doesn't make sense to be too mad about that. So I'm just like, whatever. But yeah, I think it's just it's a very case by case, because it's like, did an incident happen? If an incident happened, then there's an apology.
That's obvious. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's like, it really depends. It's just like, I think over time you kind of start to know your friend, and it's like, for instance, I'm a very clean person. If you walk around my house with shoes on, I'm going to go crazy. And if you know that pisses
your
me
house
off,
looks
apologize.
Great.
Thank you. Well,
it's cute.
But it's like, if you know having your shoes on in my house pisses me off, take your fucking shoes off. You know what I mean? It's just like, sometimes people know what they're doing. They just don't want to be accountable.
They're like, oh, I forgot. You're like, I've told you 7 times that you've been here.
I tell you from the hallway, so you can't forget.
Yeah.
Like, from the hallway walking to my apartment, I'm like, make sure you take your shoes off when you get it. But it's just like, I think a lot of people don't want to be held accountable. So a lot of it has to do with accountability. It's just like, damn, I don't want to say that I fucked up. But I think it's definitely on the passive person's end, that if things are bothering me, like sometimes I'm like, I'm letting things stack. And it could be one thing that really isn't that even big of a deal in the grand scheme of things, but 10 things have happened that really bothered me. So then now that one little thing, the one coffee that you didn't Venmo me for, will set me off.
Bitch, you owe me $4. Die.
Honestly, like, that actually happened. Really? One of the people that I had to ghost was like, literally, it was a Starbucks order that set me over, because it was just too many things have happened, too many things with money, too many things with favors and this and that. And it was that Starbucks order that it was just, that set me over. I was like, now you're fucking trying me. Like, you really?
Okay, but were you mad at yourself for not saying things 10 things ago?
Yes, I was. In retrospect, definitely. But it was just like a lot of the things I was observing, a lot of things I was just like, I don't agree with that. I just, sometimes you look at people's life and you're like, that's kind of messy, and I just don't want to be a part of it. Plus, it was like the goals were kind of rubbing off of me, and not for nothing, almost every person that I introduce this person to, they're like, oh, I don't like her. And I'm like, okay, well.
You're like, it's not just me. Doesn't it feel so freeing when you're just sort of like close the door on that friendship and then you're like, oh, I feel so good. Like,
yeah, because it honestly felt heavy. It felt like I felt responsible for this person. I felt like I had to, it almost felt like it was my child or something. It was just too much. And I'm like, it's just a lot of work to deal with people like that just have so much going on that it's just like, and then there was another thing where it was like, there was an obligation in the friendship, a lot of guilt tripping. So like anytime I would go anywhere and I post it, I'm like, in the next 10 minutes, she's going to message me and be like,
oh, like, why aren't I invited?
Oh, you need to, and it's like, you don't have 1,000 friends. Like this, I'm literally the friendliest person on the planet. I have 1 million friends in different friend groups. And it's like, you can't be invited to everything. It's just not a thing.
No, you can't. And like, and you shouldn't be, right? You should be happy for your friend that has other friends. Like one of my best girlfriends, she has the salon right here. Her and I share friend groups, and then we both have very different friend groups. And like, she'll tell me like, oh, I went out with Erica and we played pool, and like, I've played pool with them one time, but they probably go like every week. I'm never like, oh, fucking bitch. I'm like, good for you. Like, I like to hear stories of your other life, and you're going to introduce me to other friends. Like, I'm always so happy for people being happy. It's just like, it's so ick. Like when
it's ick.
Yeah. Like talking about, okay, what are your icks for friends? Like that's a real thing, right? One of my big icks is, like I do no shoes in my house too. And, when people have been in my house multiple times, same thing. I'm like, just take them off. Or like another like same realm of ick. It's like, if you walk into someone's house and you see that they don't have shoes on, just fucking take your shoes off. Like, why you gotta ask? Because then you're putting the onus on the homeowner to go, yeah, I like, or like whatever you want, or like, yeah, take your fucking shoes off, dummy. Like, just, that is one of my icks.
I think a big ick for me is like, I get real funny when money situations come up. So like, don't tell me you're going to sell me and I have to harass you for the money.
Yes. Oh, I went to Puerto Rico with a group of people with actually that friend that I was like, see you later, was in that group, and she wasn't a part of it, but I ended up paying like $200 for the tab just because like, I don't know what it is about like Latin American culture. They do not want to split the bill. Like they don't. You ask them to split the bill 5 ways. They're like, can't fucking do it. I'm like, I know you can do this. So anyways, I just took the bill because I was there for like 7 days with everybody. So I was like, well, I'm going to put it, in like this app where it counts everything and blah, blah, blah. Like, no, it took a week until after I was home to get everybody to pay me back. And it makes you like not like those people.
Oh, trust me. That is like, I draw the line at those things. I think it's just like, you owe people money. Just do it right now as you're that ADD person and you're going to forget. Don't make me ask for my fucking money back. That's
because then you're the bad guy. You're like, give me my money, give me my money. And they're like, stop being a dick. It's like, you're the dick. Pay me back.
No,
what do you mean?
You're the dick. I don't care if it's $7. You need to send me the money because I'm not responsible for you.
Fireable offense as a friend, not paying your friend. Like everybody should know that. Like,
absolutely.
That's a
and
really
I have
good
friends that I know it's like an honest mistake because they're like me. They just don't like to owe people money. And I give them grace, but I have friends that have chronically done that. And it's always like, oh, I only have, Apple Pay and they don't take
not my problem.
Like, bring your fucking card. What's wrong with you? You're an adult. Like, what are you doing? Yeah, the money is where things can get real funny. And I hate that. Don't make me so obligated to pay for you.
Do you have any friends that assume you're going to pay, like you've paid once or twice, and then they're just like, oh, they like let you walk to the cash register. You're like, bitch, are we dating? Like, what is happening?
Yes. The friendship breakup, the ghost, the one that I had a ghost. Yes. She was like that. And she would call me her sugar mama. Like she would make jokes like that. And I'm like,
ew, no, absolutely.
Yeah. And I'm like, you are not fucking me, bitch. I am not paying for your anything. Like, no, I'm going to harass you for these $5.
Is she a broke ass?
She's brokey. Yeah, she's definitely brokey. Brokey for sure.
But also, don't you feel kind of like good that she considers you to be a sugar mama? You're like, I'm not, but thanks. Like I could be.
Yeah, I'm like, I know I got it, but like also relax. Like
I don't gotta like that for you.
Not for you and not like
Not
that.
for you.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely not.
No, we're
Yeah,
gonna
it
get
was
sugar
always, I'm
daddies.
telling you, everything with her, there was so much tension with the money. And I was just like, or it was one of those things where we'd hang out for like a full 12-hour day. And it's like, oh, I'm just going to Zelle you after it. And it's like, you racked up a $200 tab today and now I have to hound you.
Bye.
This person was also, red flag, banned from Uber and Lyft and would call me because they didn't have a car to call Uber and Lyfts for them.
How did she get banned?
And then be like, oh, be around her when she's drunk and it'll make sense to you.
Oh my God. Did she ever puke in somebody's car?
Not that. She's aggressive when she's an aggressive drunk.
Oh my God. No, I would punch a girl in the face from the driver's seat. Die.
I don't know what happened, but somehow they were banned. They would always call me to order Uber and Lyfts for them and then be like, oh, I'm going to pay you next week. And I'm like,
you get like 2 of those as a friend. It depends on your like status in the friendship, but you get like 2. And then after 2, your brain's just like, God, this motherfucker, no, like, fuck you.
Yeah. Like there was one point where if like she would call me during the day, I already know it's for a favor. So I wouldn't even answer. I'd be at work and she's like blowing me up and I'm like, I'm in meetings and I'm doing shit. I'm not calling an Uber every 5 minutes. I'm not doing
Yeah, we're not dating. Also, you have fucking legs. Like rent a scooter. Like I don't do something.
Or buy a car. Like you gotta figure that out. Like it's not, you cannot make your problem my problem every single day. I can't.
No. You know, another one of my icks is, and this girl had it, I was just collecting icks before I was like, I'm done with this girl, is people that, 2 icks. Okay. When a friend doesn't ask you about your life and your events, and then when you just organically share something like, oh, I went on a date, or I like, oh my God, I had this great thing, and they don't get curious. They're not like, tell me more. I'm like, selfish. And then when somebody brags about themselves, because then I know they're insecure. Like if somebody's like, I'm just so good at this, I'm like,
yeah,
can you not do that? I can't.
Exactly.
I can't deal with that.
Oh my God. I feel like, so I'm everybody's like soundboard / therapist. So everybody calls me for things and it's always like, you know, I'm the friend you could trauma dump with, right? I very rarely complain about that.
You're like, how do you feel about that?
Yeah. No, I'm going to keep you honest. I don't give a fuck how you feel. You sound dumb and you need to stop doing it. Like, I'm the friend that if you call me, I'm going to give you my honest opinion. And I'm also going to, I don't want to say pick sides, but I'm going to pick the side of justice. Whatever is right.
Yeah.
The side I'm going to be on. Whether it's you or the man, I'm going to be on the right side, right?
Okay.
Yeah, good. I will keep you honest every time. Don't call me if you want to hear like fairy tale la bullshit because I'm not doing it.
Emily's not going to give it to you.
No, absolutely. But to that point is like everybody's calling me trauma dumping all the time. Fine, right? I have the capacity for it. So, but I do have friends that hit me up and it's just like word vomit of everything going on in their life. Not one question. Like, you see, I just went on a show. You see, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm running a business. I'm doing all these things. You haven't asked me one thing about myself.
A TV show. And you're not going to ask one. This girl did that. Like, I went on the show and like, I came back, was like, oh, the show. I just got back from the show. She's like, Anyway, it's about that date I went on. I was like, am I dealing with a mentally ill person right now? Like,
yes, you are.
Yes. Yes. Oh, I was like, you know, when you're so flabbergasted by somebody's selfishness that you're just like, I can't speak. I'm speechless. I like, it was so bad. Just like, I feel so good. Not like, better than like any breakup is like ditching a friend because like men come and go in our lives, right? But friends can stick for years and really influence your life. And having a cancerous, like, friendship around is just like so impactful for your life. Like they say, the 5 people you surround yourself with is like, I forget how that saying goes, but the top 5 people you're with, it's like how your life goes. It's like how much money you make. It's like who you date, blah, blah, blah. And just like, she was one of those 5 people for a while. And when I was with her, I just felt like, like cringy, icky, like, I'm so like way happier now.
Yeah. And I think a lot of it is too, it's just like, we're really fucking old. Like, I think we've reached an age where it's like all that dumb, selfish, whatever, all the things about yourself that you don't like, leave that shit in your 20s. heal,
I
go to
forget that
therapy,
we're
read
adults.
a fucking self-help book, do something. But I'm like, at this big age, we should not be acting like that. How are you so not self-aware that you don't even know that you're doing that?
Okay, to be honest, I do think she's on the spectrum of something.
Okay. Well, that's a whole nother conversation.
But like, right, it is. But like, she's undiagnosed.
But she's not aware.
She's not aware. And I don't, all my friends that like are maybe on the spectrum, right? Because TikTok has like shown us all everything. Yeah. So all my friends that are like maybe on the spectrum, they're like, yeah, I think I have a little bit of the tism, just like a little bit.
Yeah.
And like, they're aware. They're like, want to know more about themselves. But like this girl, she just doesn't know anything about any. And I'm just like, but that fits a lot of this thing. And then I have a lot more compassion where I'm like, okay, if she is on the spectrum of some kind, these things fit and make sense, but still not an excuse to keep that friend in your circle.
Yeah, still not an excuse to be an asshole, because I think they don't understand social cues, but you also know, like, how do you not genuinely have curiosity? I don't think that the tism has anything to do with curiosity. You should just want to know or ask or, I don't know. I wouldn't use that as an excuse for her.
No, it's just, I don't know. I don't know. It's just, I'm just so glad to be done. Like, I don't know if she even knows I have this podcast, because like I swear to God, she doesn't know anything about me besides I'm a dog trainer. So maybe she listens to this, maybe she doesn't. Maybe she knows who I'm talking about. Maybe I don't know. But either way, I'm just like,
and she's probably gonna, and if she does hear it, she probably doesn't think it's about her, because that's probably,
oh my God, she's like, that girl sounds like such a bitch. Ugh.
Yeah, and it's like, it's you, right?
Honey, it's you. Like, I'm going to Brazil this month to hang out with my boyfriend. I'm just like, I'm on like good things. Dude, I'm going to dude, I'm so excited. I'm going to Australia with him for the entire month of December. Like,
what? That's
dude,
exciting.
I know, I'm so excited. So he is like an instructor for jiu-jitsu. That's his job. And so bless you. And so he travels around a lot for that. And I'm just like, somehow I lucked out with like a super like nice, emotionally aware, funny, silly, confident man with like a badass job. And
does he have a cousin?
No, he has a sister. I don't like.
No,
he like girls. No cousin, but he does have a lot of guy friends. So like, if I find a good one, I'll be like, hey, do you need your website done? I have my friend. Yeah. Well, this was super fun.
It was.
I'm so done with recording in my car. This has been a terrible experience. I never want to fucking do this again.
0 out of 10 for the technical difficulties. It took a long time to get here, but we're here.
Okay, so guys, Emily does website building,
email marketing, all things web. You need your website managed. You need a redesign. Do you need a website built? Anything websites and
will
email.
Even audit it and tell you if it sucks or not.
Yes, I will. So if you have questions about your site, you're like, oh, I don't really know, it's not performing, need some help, feel free to reach out to me. My website is www.viceversastrategy.com. You can also find me on Instagram at vice versa strategy, and LinkedIn, vice versa strategy as well. I also have a personal LinkedIn, which is Emily Vernon.
All right. Well, thank you for joining and dealing with the fucking 45-minute build up.
No worries. No hangover is going to take over my life. So it's fine.
Good job. All right, Emily, we'll have a fantastic day. And this was really fun.
Okay. Bye. Talk to you later. It was fun.